Hi, welcome to the show. Happy, oh gosh, what is it? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. We used to have Gronk Day during the season. No Gronk for now, but we do have future Hall of Famer Devin Hester on the program. Cannot wait to talk to him. We have Ben Solak from The Ringer. He's one of these sick pups, okay? He's one of these nitty-gritty, we're talking roster construction, we're talking free. He's one of those people who loves the chaos of free agency. I cannot wait. I've never met him. I can't wait to talk to him. We are going to talk a little bit about Derrick Henry, who's a Raven. One thing to know on running back prospect Jalen Wright. And we're going to go over some notable free agents. DJ Reader, I'm talking to you. This is like the third time Devin Hester is gracing the program. I still can't believe it. It is still like a waking up on my birthday or Christmas, knowing that this guy finally Hall of Fame bound, Canton bound. You know, he told me he cried the first time he didn't found out that he didn't make it. The second time around, he sort of dealt with it a little bit differently. It'll happen when it happens, and now Hall of Fame, baby, for Devin Hester. What does it mean for his position, the evolution of the game? Has he sorted out how many times he's going to mention Tony Dungy in his speech? We'll talk about all of that with the GOAT in a little bit. Welcome to the show. Lots of fun here. I'm seeing the chat, top chat, live chat. Thank you guys for being here live. Of course, you can catch the re-air of the show at 11 Eastern on Max, which is amazing. Okay, I'm definitely missing a hat. Oh, I think we're going to talk about hats here. Okay, cat in the hat. The cat in the hat is going to get you guys your hats today. I didn't know much about it, but we're going to sort it all out. But let's get to some business here, people. Day 2 of free agency was a little more chill than day 1. Still some fun, though. And there are still a lot of unanswered questions just lingering around. Shout out to the Cranberries as we approach the start of the league year. Which, oh my gosh, Happy New Year. Do we have any champagne here, Kat? Kat, you know what? I had a bunch of drinks last night. Let's keep it rolling here. I would love to celebrate the beginning of the league year, which is today. So it's still old year right now until 4 Eastern. And what does that mean? It means that all of these deals can become official. The first question I have, though, as we deal with all this stuff is Derrick Henry signing to the Ravens, ... Is it enough? Question mark. Is it enough to win a Super Bowl? That's the goal. There's nothing else. I want to start by saying I love the move. Derrick Henry's going to fit great in that offense. Any clowns out there saying that that's not true, I don't understand what you're saying or looking at or what your argument could be. He and Lamar are going to make one of the more exciting tandems we've ever seen on a football field. And they're going to be productive. And as flashy as it is now, you know, and this is woulda, coulda, shoulda, I know. I don't even know if I should say this now. Like, had they done what we had suggested on the show and what many suggested, and it was definitely talked about as it being a sexy ad at the deadline, had DaCosta and co. added him at the deadline, does this team, dare I say, win the Super Bowl? I know it's crazy. I know Chiefs fans are not going to like that. Ravens fans probably aren't going to like that. Don't look in the past, don't whatever. But you look back at that Kansas City game with the Ravens, and I can't imagine 6 rushing attempts happen with 22 and a crown running back there. So, sure, better late than never. Probably shouldn't have brought that up. I don't know if that was like a doomy cloud that I just put, but they could have gotten him at the deadline, and I wish they did. But I'm glad that they did now because this has to work for them. And I'm going to say, does this put them over the edge? Is Derrick enough? I don't know because it's not the same team. Let's take a look. DC, Mike McDonald, he's left. Patrick Queen signs with the Steelers. Geno Stone, big addition for the Bengals who needed help on defense. Starting guard John Simpson is a Jet. Kevin Zeitler, free agent. Jadeveon Clowney off a career year. This is a lot to lose. Wow, this is woofy. The Ravens aren't done, but those are a lot of losses to manage, people, especially when it comes to a defense that is reigning #1. It is the best defense in the league from last year. So there's a jolt that Derrick Henry is going to bring. Is it enough to offset in the balance of things what you just saw in that full screen, that court chain whipped up? I don't know. And can they find enough pieces on the current roster and in the draft to fill the gaps that you just saw leave there, DC and down? So it's sort of what I'm waiting to see. All in all, this is a Super Bowl contending team, and I can't wait to see what this offense looks like next season. Okay, next question. It's one that I kind of poured, you know, I like to do this. And sometimes people think I'm an insider. So I'm not an insider. I'm not trying to play that game. I just like to sometimes do this, add a little something. Some might call it watching the world burn a la Joker, just like what I like to do sometimes. And when I saw this Jamar Chase tweet about this story is going to be crazy to tell, I go back to talking to Jamar Chase at Super Bowl. He's sitting aside T. Higgins talking about not playing each other. I go back to my interview, getting to sit down with a very giggly Justin Jefferson talking about, don't you miss those guys in the stripes? What would you and Jamar be like back there? And so I tweeted, Justin Jefferson to the Bengals. Why not? Listen, a lot of people are wondering in the wake of the Kirk Cousins news, you know, what do you do if you're Justin Jefferson? Can you possibly sign an extension in Minnesota without having an idea of the future and what your future holds at quarterback? Is Sam Darnold enough for you to be like, you know what, I'll finally find that extension paperwork from under my bed and sign it and turn it in, Chief? Like, no, you're not going to do that. And there's a massive payday on the horizon. Does he want to play out a season with a quarterback situation that could possibly affect his numbers? Or is he so confident that he's like, give me Sam Darnold. My numbers will be great anyway. Look at my numbers were before my injury and after my injury just a season ago. I was on a crazy historic clip before all of that got derailed with Kirk going down and him going down, of course. I don't know. Jefferson revealed in an interview yesterday that he likes Justin Fields. That's interesting. That's intriguing. So if you're Chicago, you can't trade him there now, right? Not only do you risk him embarrassing you for years to come if it works, but you might help them lock in Justin Jefferson too. Can you, as a Chicago Bears front office, like where do you move on the chessboard? Like, I don't know, is that checkmate for you? Can you do it? I don't know. I would play chess, not checkers there, Ryan Poles. I probably wouldn't risk that, wouldn't want to get that done. And I have to address the Bengals speculation here too, as I alluded to at the top here, because people started wondering, and I added to this story, you know, is this an LSU reunion in Cincy? I fan the flames, of course, agent of chaos, Kay Adams, at your service. Let's be honest, it's fun to think about. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. T and a couple of picks could make an intriguing package situation happen. The odds of it happening, obviously, very slim. Bengals have other needs to fill, especially defensively. But I don't know. Crazier things have been said. I don't know. And I asked Justin about reuniting with Joe and Jamar. You know, after they played the Bengals this year, they were like dapping each other up on the field. I thought it was cute. And this clip actually did not make the final cut to air, but we did want to share it with you guys.
I think, you know, you're saying you just, you know, you hang out with Joe, you say hi. Listen, you haven't signed that extension in Minnesota. Are you telling Joe how good he would look in some tiger stripes?
Oh man, we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that.
I like it. Listen, why are you? Okay, here's another.
You gonna give me in trouble, kid. You gonna give me in trouble.
Make of that what you will, make of that what you will. But Bengals aside, I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing trade rumors if the Vikings don't make a more significant move at the quarterback spot. So I'm going to get to my third question in a little bit. I know Bengals fans are like, talk about DJ Rita. I will, I promise. But for now, we got to make plenty of time for future Hall of Famer Devin Hester. He is on the show after this. Can't wait. Let's talk about Justin Fields. Can they deal him to the Vikings? Let's get his thoughts next. Hammy! What up? What up?
What up, Kay?
Well, what up? Agent of chaos.
Completed all day yesterday.
Listen, because I don't understand, like, what I'm saying, like, Justin Jefferson incoming. I'm not saying, like, I'm hearing that that's happening.
Yeah, you're just putting it out there.
I'm just, you know, it's like when, what does the Joker do in The Darkest Night? Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. He just sort of like
creates as much chaos as possible.
And away we go. That's what he says, right? Him and Billy Eichner, and Billy on the Street.
And I guess
those are my two role models.
When you get all those, you know, free agent picks, right? People start thinking, you know, you have some type of a plug and are going to read into everything you're saying. I think that's what's going on.
You know who needs some free agents?
Who?
The LA Clippers.
Because you injured their star player last night.
I go to the game last night. So fun. Amazing. Clippers, Timberwolves. So Towns was out. And then Russell Westbrook didn't play. So obviously I was right there. Amazing. Got to watch courtside. and was really just staring at Russell Westbrook the whole time because he's just interesting to look at, and I want to know what he was wearing, and I was trying to see like what his shoes were from across the court and like all of that. But otherwise, I've really gotten myself into this space. I mean, I got to watch Nadal and Alcaraz, like literally standing next to them. Justin Thomas hit a drive. I'm standing 3 feet away from him. I'm seeing these incredible feats, and it is like warping my brain and spoiling me in a way. It's like when you take private jets your whole life and then you're asked to go back and like sit in a steerage commercial flight or something like that. I imagine that's what it is. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. And now I'm watching like the best of the best, and Kawhi and, I mean, Paul George, hello, do their thing up and down the court. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and poor Kawhi, you take one video of the action going on in the court, and it happens to be the play he gets back spasms on and is out for the game. Last year, wasn't it Karl Anthony Towns?
Am I getting blamed for Kawhi? Am I getting blamed for Kawhi Leonard's back spasms?
Yep.
I didn't even see him in the
100%.
video. I was trying to like make sure my beer was in the shot, and I was just doing my thing. I didn't make it happen. People out there, we have to talk. We'll get on the show. We'll get on the air and we'll talk about this. Do you have the photo of the mascot or the video?
We do.
Let's do this. We'll do this
Yes.
in 10 seconds. If you guys have any questions. I don't understand, how did the Timberwolves just come back like that? And who is this Ant-Man? And who is this Ant-Man? Like, everyone's saying, go see the Ant-Man. I'm like, oh, is that the mascot? No.
Paul Rudd? What?
Oh, yeah. Back on Up and Adams, Hamilton is with me. I got to go to the Clippers-Timberwolves game last night. I thought the Clippers were going to get it done. Everything was looking good. Kawhi pulls up lame. He leaves the game. Russell Westbrook already out. I can't believe how many stars are on the Clippers. It was I was like, oh, you're here. Oh, okay, James Harden. And then this Ant-Man just took over, and it was amazing. And Paul George looks like an actor playing a basketball player out there. I'm like, what is happening here? It was so fun. It was amazing. But I obviously got freaked out and I sent you a video of the mascot for the Clippers, because WTF is this? I was I almost hid under my seat.
Of all the things going on there, of all the stars, this is the video you sent me.
It's a
what
condor.
is this? Not only
his name is Chuck.
Yeah.
He wears Chuck Taylors that are red. Respectfully, that's a no. That I was scared. I hate birds. I hate bird mascots. No offense. I'm like, I don't hate. I'm scared. I'm scared of them. So that was a big part of my night. And of course, everybody's like, oh, that's so awesome. You're so close to the action. Of course, it's like all fun and games until I'm literally like, I'm gonna get hit with the ball. I'm gonna hit with the ball. I'm just waiting for it. I'm like, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna break my wrist. Something's like, it's meant to happen. It's like how I feel about snakes attacking me at any given moment.
And you have this thing with mascots in general. We had a great experience in Phoenix with the Phoenix Suns mascot. He has an Up and Adams hat somewhere. Yes. The gorilla. Are there any mascots that are acceptable to you?
I had a lot of 818 tequila before I hung out with that mascot, to be fair. I had a good time with Marissa. What's the Eagles mascot? Swoop? Swoop was cool. Swoop and I really got along. I got on Swoop's shoulders, so that was an interesting moment. I'm trying to think. Oh, Fredbird. I worked with the Cardinals. Fredbird was amazing. But when we worked together very closely. That was my first partner.
But it hasn't changed your opinion on birds?
I'm just really not into it. Okay, let's see. Crunch the Timberwolf is fantastic. I mean, I believe my text. I believe my text to Hamilton as I was walking into crypto were, "What is a Clipper? What is a Timberwolf?" Did I not send you that?
Yeah. Yes.
What do I need to know? What's going on? But I appreciate you guys for all of the shout outs on Twitter, getting me set for that game, and Ant-Man, which was great. Why do I hate birds? Because I feel like they don't have any consideration for people. You know who put it that way? Tim Brown. Tim Brown, former GMFB GOAT showrunner, who shared my opinion of pigeons. They have no consideration, or seagulls, no considerations for other people, and so you can't, be around people like that. You gotta take yourself away from that kind of a vibe. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to tell you. Oh, you know what else I wanted to bring up with you? I know we have Devin Hester coming on. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll do it in the next break. Should we do our last? Yeah, let's do our last thing here. Because you and I we've talked more in the past 3 days than we have in a long time. We had a good 2-week break from each other. And then now we're just talking 10 hours a day because free agency is insane and amazing. And I can't wait to talk to Solak from The Ringer about some of this stuff because there are unanswered questions here. I can't wait to get into Devin Hester's head about polls in Chicago, what they should do. And we've seen, I mean, a lot of signings, like over 150, which I'm sure you can name all of them. And they're like combine 40s. But there's a lot of talent on the board. So the question I have here, what's going to happen with some of these big names? And if you look at it, let's Hammy start with the offense here. Calvin Ridley, we'll get to him in a moment. You've got 3 prominent tackles still sitting out there. Tyron Smith, Bakhtiari, can he stay healthy? What's his future? Is he going to be a Jet? Is he going to be like the Secretary of State in the cabinet of Kennedy and Rogers? Who knows? Jonah Williams. OBJ still needs a home. What? Tannehill could be an interesting backup for somebody. On the defensive side, it's even more loaded. It's basically a Pro Bowl team sitting there. Are you kidding? Chase Young and Clowney both have scheduled visits in Carolina. Carolina, let's go. DJ Reader, highest paid nose tackle at the time. He's up. Let's get him going. Coach Lou, I'm sure, is like, wait, stop talking about Justin Jefferson. Give me some defense. Eric Armstead got released by the Niners. Bobby Wagner, Devin White, Gilmore Xavier, Justin Simmons. So the 3 names to focus on quickly, and let's start with Calvin Ridley. A lot of people wondering how he hasn't signed yet. You and I have this figured out, right? The fact that he was responding to me with tweets about Debo. You're a big Jags fan. Jordan, our social media guru, who's been working his ass off with this content, crushing it. We're so thankful for you, Jordan. He's a big Jags fan, too. And I think you guys have to feel pretty good that he's, yucking it up on Twitter because he's waiting for 401 today.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I don't think a lot of people were aware of this going into free agency. But if he signs back with the Jaguars before 4 Eastern today, the Jags have to give the Falcons a 2nd-round pick to complete that trade that they made a couple of years ago. If he signs after 401, the Jags only have to send a 3rd-round pick. So this could be Calvin kind of helping his team out. Because really, I feel like if he's laughing with you on Twitter, he's got things figured out and settled. He's not like in the midst of heated negotiations.
He responded to that with like a laugh emoji too. So I think Calvin Ridley stays in Jacksonville loaded receiving core, loaded offense for Jacksonville with Gabe Davis there now. I think he wants to break out. I think he wants it more than he ever has, and fresh blood, new spaces. I think he very much thinks that there's more for him, and he understands what time it is. The next player I want to talk about is the player that brought you and I together 6-7 years ago on Good Morning Football, and it was your love for Bobby Wagner. It was like when you're a little sister and your big brother just keeps talking about how cool Wolverine is, like nonstop at the breakfast table, dinner table. Like, you're like, I've heard enough. That was you to me. Just all day osmosis telling me about how Bobby Wagner is the most unheralded, incredible, Hall of Fame bound worthy linebacker, just, Destructicon of all time. And let's talk about him because I've heard, he's not signing because he's about to fall off. That was 3 free agencies ago. We've heard this a million times. He has been all-pro every year since. So we've watched him. We've watched him just shut everybody up all the time. He's also, and he does it with his mouth shut. Like, it's amazing. He's also coming off a career-high 183 tackles last year in Seattle. Word is he isn't returning there. And we've seen him leave there before, so it's not like it's some emotional attachment. Pete Carroll's gone, all of that. I mean, I don't think he's got any reason to linger or do anything. They're going to part ways. He's going to be a big deal for somebody. Is it Dallas? Dallas, do you deserve him? You'd be lucky to have him. Baltimore, can you imagine him playing next to Roquan, replacing Patrick Queen?
That would be special.
I'd love that. You think Dan Quinn wouldn't be in on some of Bobby Wagner's off-the-field qualities?
Yeah, and that familiarity with Quinn, who was his DC, of course, early on in Seattle. I'm sure they're looking to add some leadership there in Washington. They've actually had a sneaky good, maybe we talk about this tomorrow, the Commanders have had a sneaky good free agency here in Dan Quinn's first year as well. So I guess it all depends on what Bobby values. He could go somewhere to a contender and chase another ring. Of course, he already has one with the Seahawks, or could go to a situation like that where he's going to be really valued by a team like the Commanders.
DJ Reader, let's get to it. Last one I want to talk about here. Announced he has a visit scheduled. This is interesting. He's going to go to Detroit, home of the draft. He's going to go visit the Lions, okay? And there's all this, like, Justin Jefferson daydreaming. I don't want Bengals fans to lose sight of how important he is. He's got to run it back in Cincy. Cincy's defense, okay, listen. Before DJ came from Houston, And this deal was like in my opinion, the changing of the tide deal for the Bengals, pre-Burrow, truly. It was the Bengals did what? They paid somebody top money at their position. They don't do that. Their nose tackle. I remember it specifically in the wave of crazy free agency being like, the F is this? Like, Bengals, this isn't how they operate. This sort of changed the tide. They did that. And since then, they've been top 10 every year he's been there in big categories, right? It's not a coincidence. Things fell apart when he got hurt down the stretch last season. And I know Bengals fans appreciate his impact out there week in, week out. I don't think it gets enough credit nationally as far as like how dominant he is on the interior. So please, DJ, friend of the show, Bengals, find a way to make it happen. You're not great without him. And if you lose him, what is this D-line? Like, what do you expect? Everyone wants to, like, say Coach Lou last year, like, whatever this defense, like, you expect Joey B to do it all. I don't care if Justin Jefferson's there. If you don't keep DJ Reader or figure out something on defense, I don't know what you're going to do. Geno Stone, we get, we love. I want to see a little bit more. All right, we're going to take a short break here. Hester is on the show. Then we'll have Ben Solak of The Ringer. He's going to go deep into the nitty-gritty on this. If you guys have free agency questions for Solak, you got questions for this Hall of Famer, hit us up. Speaking of hats, let's do this. Oh, do you have a... Oh, shoot. Okay, great. Okay, so Kat, tell me what's going on with this. Or does Hamilton, do you know about this? These are, I just saw these for the first time, like 10 minutes ago. These are hats. I guess we've done a giveaway. It's not current, because I have names. Okay, we've done a giveaway, and Hamilton, these are pretty cool. I actually really like them. I'm
a fan, yeah. Yeah, I remember I was actually in studio when we picked the names.
Wayne's World, party time, excellent. That's what I feel like wearing this. It kind of worked. Don't I look like, what did I call him to his face? Mike Myers?
Michael Myers, yeah.
I called him the guy with the guy from the horror movie.
Yeah.
I was mortified.
And you have no idea who Javier Bardem is other than he's married to Penelope Cruz. It's great.
Darius Smith, Sean Parahar, Nicholas Dunn. Oh my gosh, these are the mega fans. I love this. These are the GOATs. Mark Barone, Niner Gang. Want to say something to Barbara? Go on.
Hi, Barbara. Appreciate all the support.
Say, hey, Barbie. Are you turning red? What is going on? You're a married man. What's happening? Okay, so she gives me this Sharpie and she goes, they want them signed. What do you think I said?
You said you're not.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants an autograph from me. I'm not signing
I'm not signing any of these, but they are great guys.
Yeah.
And so enjoy them. I'm not going to sign them because I'm not, I don't know, a specialist going into the Hall of Fame like Devin Hester. If I could put these through the Zoom and get him to sign them for you guys, I would. But these are cool. Thank you guys for being such amazing fans and subscribing. And if you want stuff like, I don't know, we've got jerseys to give away. We've got FanDuel dollars to give away. You have to be a subscriber on YouTube, and that's kind of it for that to get done. So very cool. All right, we got Hester coming on. Let's see what you guys have to say. So we're not showing the play that. Okay, just so you guys know, those whatever you put in that in beginning to the B block wasn't in my B block. So where was that in script for me? No, I don't, well, okay, but yeah, so I didn't have any, so then, you know, I know, but when things get shuffled, yeah, I didn't know where it was. Okay. A little color on this would have been great, Eric.
Eagles to put it down. Feely's kick. Pressure kick. Not even close. And now Hester, after hesitating, he's going to run it out. And Hester is going to run it out past the 40 into Giants territory. He is going to go all the way. Touchdown, Chicago. And no flags.
That's how we bring in guests. Not everybody can be brought in with like an 119-yard, something, 108-yard return, but here's one of the greatest to ever do it. Punts, kicks, history of the NFL cannot be written without this 5-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, and now officially the newest member of the 2024 Hall of Fame class. Devin Hester, that smile says it all.
Appreciate you guys for having me, man. Appreciate it so much.
How
Always
does
a
it
pleasure on
feel?
the show with you. Feels great. Long overdue for all us as Devin Hester fans, family members. But at the end of the day, you know, when the time's called, that knock at the door comes, it feels like it's the first one. So I'm honored and privileged to be a Hall of Famer now, and just so excited about everything that's going on right now.
That play I just showed, we've had you on the show twice before this, and we've always had it in the script that we want to play it, and we never do because we never get to it. But it's my favorite play. Can you talk me through it from your perspective and just what you remember?
That was my rookie year, playing in New York, playing against the Giants, and it was one of those borderline getting cold time of the year. The wind was blowing, and we had practiced that play maybe about 3 weeks ago prior to that game, and just for situations like this. And they was in a crunch time situation where they needed a field goal and it was stopped, but they was pinned back, and so we didn't know whether or not they was going to send the field goal unit on the field or the punt unit on the field. And I'm happy they end up sending the field goal unit out there. So of course, the great special team coach I have had, which was named Dave, told me, "Hey, Devin, this is the play." And put the field goal unit out there and put me in, and I knew right then and there they kicked the ball. It was a great opportunity with the wind blowing that I would get my hands on the ball.
Sunday night, bright lights, and nobody not watching. Everybody watching that game, which is so amazing and what makes it so great. It was like the moment, not just Bears, not just, you know, everybody sort of realized you are a force to be reckoned with. You can change a game on a dime, and that's amazing. Now, you told me the first time you didn't get into the Hall of Fame, it was emotional for you. Second time, a little less emotional. So getting that call, who calls, what's it like, what emotions does it turn to when it's finally the right time?
Jim Porter is the head guy over the Hall of Fame now, and he took it over about 3 years ago. And so first year I didn't get the call. I did get a call saying I didn't make it because when you're a finalist, I think it boils down to the top 10. You get a call whether you make it or not. And so first year I got a call, and unfortunately I wasn't able to make it the first year. Second year, to be honest, I didn't really want to make it because the Super Bowl was in Arizona, and I knew I wasn't going to have no fun down there. I was hoping I found out it was Vegas the following year. I was like, please don't pick me this year, but please pick me next year. And so my wish came true, and had some fun in Vegas, and here to say I'm a Hall of Famer now.
You are, and you're smiling, and we love to see it. And you have so many fans just around the world who, like, obviously think, just like you said, I think the quote is long overdue, and that's accurate. In the way that we talk about this, you know, over 3 years, and more than that, really, since you've left the game, have you thought about, like, the moments of the Hall of Fame that you're most looking forward to, the moments of that weekend in Canton, the bust, the induction ceremony? Like, have you thought about who's introducing you? Dion, maybe your mentor?
So I did reach out to. So we're doing the way they set it up this year. They're doing a jacket ceremony first, which is on a Friday. Mm-hmm. And so this year they're wanting to have the future Hall of Famers represent those guys, the new Hall of Famers, and help put on a jacket. So Dion is, of course, is one of the guys that I reached out to. Mm-hmm. I know around that time of the year he's in mid-season, beginning of the season with his college team. So I don't know how his schedule is going to pan out. But as far as I just came from Canton yesterday, and we toured the museum. Got a chance to walk on the stage on where we'll be presenting the speech, hotel, things like that, just preparing for the parties and stuff like that. So we've been very busy when it comes to Canton in Ohio and all the festivities that's going on. So I'm very excited, and I just can't wait for this all to be.
How do you make sure that your bust goes the way that it needs to go? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you how involved do you get in the process? I've never asked this. Nobody's ever given me this information. Like, are they showing you what it's going to look like? Are you getting renditions? Are you approving? How does that go?
So it's a nice process. I built a strong relationship with the guy that does the bust, and I sent a couple pictures of how I want it to look, how I want my hair to look. I asked him to make me young again. I know my cheeks are a little puffy now from me getting older, so I told him give me some Botox, tighten up my face a little bit. But we get a say so in it, and we get to kind of pick and choose how we want it to look. So I'm excited to see it when it's all done.
Is there a bust that you saw? I can't imagine. I wish we could get footage of you walking through and doing that tour in Canton. Is there a bust that you stopped and looked at longer than the others that you were like just wowed by?
I did. I actually pointed out one that I felt was like the best bust that I ever seen, that I seen there, and it was Ed Reed's. And when I got close up on like the details and the hair and the beard and the face and the eyes, it actually made you feel like he was right there looking at you. So Ed Reed was probably the one I would say really draw my attention.
His is good, and I would be his eyes should follow you as you walk through it. That's what I feel like Ed Reed should be like, because that's what he was like through his mask on the field, which is so amazing. Let me ask you this: when I thought about you coming on and you finally were in the Hall of Fame, I'm just like, sure, jacket ceremony, Dion, you reached out to him, that's cute. Did you think about having Tony Dungy do it? No,
man, Tony. Nah.
What's that going to be like? I feel like he's got to be in your speech, right?
It's so hard, man, because I was actually on a plane yesterday on the way back from Canton, and I was kind of trying to prepare for the speech a little bit, writing down some notes, and it's just, when you have so many important people in your life, it's so hard to get all of them down. And I know it's going to be a couple of guys and some important people that I may miss out with the time frame that we do have. They give you a time frame to give your speech, so it's going to be hard with my speech because I have so many important people that's been involved in my life and that I want to mention. So just preparing for that, man, it's a nice process. It's overwhelming, but at the same time, it's an honor and a joy to be able to do things like that right now.
You mentioned Coach Dave, of course, your longtime coach in Chicago, now with Kansas City, having so much success. How happy have you been for him?
Man, just everything that he's been going through, you know, all the success that he's been having, man, and continuously winning Super Bowls. And right now he's in the prime of his life at coaching, man. I can't be but so proud of what he had, what he was, and how he's became right now in modern days right now with the coaching. And it's just, I'm just overwhelmed. And sometimes I ask him, like, can I borrow a couple of your rings?
He'll for sure be in Canton with you celebrating, which is amazing. And he's had an incredible success over an 11-year stint, which is success in itself, hanging out there with the Chiefs and company. When you think about yourself at your position, right, kick returner, you're accomplishing something that is harder to do than other positions. I got to just ask you, are you the last of your kind?
That's a great question. It's when you watch the game today, you know, the return margin is thinning and thinning out. I can't even say who was the best kickoff and punt returner this year. You know, it's sad to say, but I know the rules are changed with the kickoff. But the opportunities that the guys get on punt return, the opportunities are there. It's just, it's a unique situation. And hopefully another guy comes along, you know what I mean, with the talent and the skill set and the right coach to really blossom and bloom and pick the return game back up, because right now it's slowly deteriorating. Well,
they're talking about changing the kickoff rules. Do you want that?
They already changed it. What are they changing to now?
I think they're changing something else. They're going to make it easier to return, I feel like, even more. I think there's some rules up. Hamilton probably knows more about that than me, but you're saying no, don't change anything else.
No, I mean, make it more presentable for the returners
Yeah,
to
make
get
it-
the opportunity to get their hands on the ball again. Like I said, I know the rules with the kickoff has changed kickoff returns
Yes.
a lot. I know they still have opportunities on the punt return, but it's just not. It's really no guys out there that's really separating themselves as a returner. You know, it's kind of quiet and kept, but hopefully somebody picks it up and get it back going.
Yeah, they're talking about something similar to what the XFL, Hamilton is telling me, is doing to add more returns with fewer risks of injury.
That'd be great to bring the game back. To me, the kickoff and punt return was one of the most exciting plays in the NFL. And to take that out of the game, you know what I mean? You take a big part out of the game. I feel like they need to find a way to get it back involved.
Or you just like leave goated forever. It's like the last dude to, that's the last dude to do it when everybody walks by that bust 20 years, 30 years, 100 years from now. They're going to say, that's Devin Hester, like kind of the last of his kind to do it. I don't know. That's kind of sexy, I feel like, no?
I feel like it is, too.
Yeah. Let's not make these rules too easy now, NFL. Calm down on that. Let's talk about where things are never easy, and that's in Chicago. Okay? I know you believe in Justin Fields because I've talked to you about it. You believe in him as the quarterback of this team, of any team he might be in, at the head of. All signs seem to be pointing to a trade, though I don't know, like the musical chairs are winding down here. We're watching the quarterback trade market sort of evaporate and dry up in free agency. He's still with Chicago. What do you make of the Bears holding on to him this late into the process?
It's a clear sign that they really don't want to get rid of him. It could be just keeping opponents on their toes, not showing the Bears' hand. I don't feel as though they should get rid of Justin. I feel like to make a quarterback like Justin successful, you have to put pieces around him and veteran guys around him. I like the pickup they just picked up with Swift. I feel like they do need to go out and get another prime receiver. I like Marvin Harris Jr.
Yeah.
I feel like if they go out and get a guy like Marvin Harris, and potentially bring in another shifty slot receiver, sky's the limit with the offense. So I feel, my opinion, I would draft Marvin Harris. I would keep Justin Fields. I would go out and try to get another key weapon on the offense side of the ball, whether it's another slot receiver or potentially another tight end that's like a Kittle or Kelsey type receiver, tight end, and I feel like Justin Fields would light up the season.
What's the argument for him with what you've seen with your eyes, a Hall of Famer, over drafting Caleb?
I feel like it's a lot of stuff going on with Caleb right now. And me as a GM, I don't want to badmouth anybody, but it's too much attention going on right now with their quarterback like that. You look at all the quarterbacks that come in the draft and has a lot of things going on. It kind of seemed to carry them out throughout their career.
What kind of things?
Just things off the field. It could be small things, it could be big things, but it's too much right now. And I feel like the type of quarterback he is, Justin Fields is similar, but better with running the ball. I don't see a big difference. Now, if you've seen a big difference in two guys when you're drafting a quarterback, you see a big difference in the quarterback you're trying to draft compared to the quarterback you have, and the quarterback that you're trying to draft is showing more excitement and is just better than you go out and get that quarterback. But if these two guys are similar, I don't feel like you should go out and draft the quarterback similar to what you already have.
And you're going to be in that same position with Caleb where you've got to support him and surround him with talent.
Right.
And if you're taking him, you can't take a Marvin Harrison Jr. like you're talking about, or support him and not have consistency. And you're saying you like Justin. DJ Moore sits and tells me he likes Justin. I've not heard a teammate of Justin's not be completely for him. in staying in that offense. And that speaks a lot to them potentially keeping him. And the spots are sort of drying up. There's a lot of talk about Justin Fields being traded to the Vikings because Kirk's not there, Sam there. Do you think Chicago can stomach that, an interdivision rival shipping Justin, where he could potentially, given what you're saying, he's a great quarterback. He can go out there and ball for the Vikings with Justin Jefferson? No way.
This is a situation that I was put in. I know in my last year in Chicago, there was rumors about me getting traded. And the one team, when they did mention the trade block with me, within 30 minutes, opponent, rivalry team called and said, "We willing to take him right now." And I got taken off the trade block like that. And so when you trade a player, make sure that player you trade, you don't want to play against. If you feel like this is a player we want to trade, but I don't want to play against this player, send him to the Vikings. You're going to see him 2 times a year, and who knows how he's feeling when he plays against you. So that's a caution that you want to have. I feel like Justin Fields is like I said, you put the right pieces around him, you get him in the offense that fits him. And what I mean by fit him is built around what type of talent that he has. Sky's the limit with him. So and that's what I see nowadays in the NFL. Like you have to make the offense designed around what type of quarterback you have. If you have a pocket passing quarterback, then your offense is built that way. But if you have a quarterback that's better on the move, then you build an offense that's built around a quarterback that's on the move. It's plain and simple nowadays, and that's what great coaches do. You see Andy Reid and the type of offense he has, because guess what? Patrick Mahomes is not a sitting-pocket quarterback. He likes to move around and make plays. So get him the ability to make those type of plays, because that's the type of quarterback he is.
Should Justin want to stay in Chicago, if you're Justin? And moves have been made, but now you and I have talked about this at length. Like, how good can you get? How can you ever get into a rhythm if you're constantly revolving OCs in and out and coaches? So Getsy's out, Eric Washington's in. Then you've got, so they re-signed Jalen Johnson. You like the Swift ad, which I like too. Gerald Everett, Kevin Byard. If you're Justin Fields, do you want to stay in Chicago, given everything?
Yes and no. When I say yes, because you're already situated. You got a place to stay. You're familiar with the city. You're familiar with the facility, the coaches, the everybody, the trainers, everybody. You already built a relationship with those guys. Now it's just really, could they make this work for me? Like, could they put in an offense that fits me? Could they bring in the weapons to make this easier for me? Make it simple for him. I feel like he could be one of the league top 10 quarterbacks this year if this system is built around him. And by saying that is bringing in some weapons, give him an offensive coordinator that makes him comfortable, that calls the plays that he's comfortable with, that he can utilize his talent, where we all know, and it's no brainer, his legs makes him great. So give him the type of play calling that's going to make the offense run with him at quarterback. Look at Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is known for making plays with his legs. Look how far they go in the playoffs every year. Look at their record every year with Lamar. And this was a two-time MVP quarterback.
You're comparing Justin Fields to Lamar. You're saying he can be at that. You're saying top 10. You're telling me Justin Fields, that this is the quote that's going to go out there. Devin, I'm trying to help you. Is this what you want out there?
This is what I want out there, because I feel like if you put him in an offense that is designed for him, then he could be potentially in the top 10 quarterbacks. I'm not saying MVP, but he could be in the top 10 when we talk about quarterbacks of 2024. Year. He could be in the top 10 if you put him in an offense that is designed for him and not designed for the offensive coordinator to say, this is what I'm coming in as a new offensive coordinator, and this is my playbook. Yeah. And this is what we're going to run. He might not be that quarterback for that offensive playbook, but if you come in as an offensive coordinator and say, you know what, I'm going to call the plays predicated on what type of players we have and what's going to make the system work. Not what type of system I want to work, but whatever type of system that we have, that the players that we have, we gonna make an offense designed around the type of players we have, then that's when you're gonna be successful.
And that's literally, I mean, it's like you're basically saying follow the Todd Monken OC of the Ravens playbook, because he came in and said, Lamar, I'm gonna let you do you and be yourself.
Yeah. If you think about it, all the good offense is more like a copycat league.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make our offense great. If I have a quarterback like this is the type of plays we call him. It's like me when I coach you football. If I got a team full of running backs, I'm not finna go 4 wide. I'm not going 5 wide. I'm going wishbone, and all 3, 4 of my running backs gonna get carries. If I have a team full of wide receivers, I'm not finna go power out. I'm not gonna run wishbone. I'm gonna go 5 wide. So you have to. This is the thing. It's so easy. You adjust your offense on what type of players you have.
Sounds like
and
you
what
should,
type of quarterback you have.
Sounds like you need to be making the decisions, but you're too busy picking out your bust for the Hall of Fame, my friend. You don't have time to deal with all these Chicago problems. I wanted to talk about Atlanta. We'll skip over it. They've got a lot to look forward to. They've got a ways to go. I know we're excited about some of those moves. I do want to ask you before we go quickly. Actually, maybe we'll take a break and we'll do it in break. Let's take a break on the TV side. We'll do it on YouTube. I've got 2 more questions for you. We'll be right back. We're going to have Ben Solak talk to us a little bit about roster construction, what's going on around free agency. But, I mean, I could talk to Devin Hester all day. So we went over on our
Let's
side.
do it. Let's talk.
I want to ask you, so I got to meet Xavier Worthy a couple of weeks ago after his combine in the 4.21. And he is a delight. And I'm rooting for him. And I think it would mean a lot to him to hear you talk over this 40. What do you think when you saw this?
Man, it's crazy because every year, man, technology and nutrition and the proper training and the little small details of shaving off 1/10 of a second every year is getting what I can say found and utilized. And every year, man, we starting to find a player that's running these crazy times, man. And for one, you know, of course they was blessed with the speed, you know, but shaving a 1/10 off a second, man, when it comes to these 40-yard dashes, man, it's unbelievable, man. And this kid here, man, I know he really, really boosts his stock when it comes to the draft for him this year, man. I know for sure that it's going to help him out. You know, when you think about all the kids that run in the 4.2s, half of them probably projected in the second round. But because they ran the you know what I mean? But because they ran the 4.2, it made them top 20 every year. You know what I mean? Because teams feel like they.
If I can call you Dev, I don't know why I think I can do that. I'm like,
that's cool. That's cool.
We're
talking right now, so we getting comfortable. We talking right now.
You ran a 4.41, I believe.
I hate that they stick that with me. We all know. In every scouting report that played us, when they seen that 4.11, they say this kid is not a 4.1, a 4.4, a 4.4 guy. What
would you have run in 2020? You're saying it's all these details, all these things that they have at their disposal. You're watching Worthy. He returned kicks at Texas. What would you have run right now?
If I was young again?
Yeah, if you were Xavier Worthy right now, are you running a 4.1?
Not a 4.1, no. I would be. I felt like me coming out of college. I was a low 4.3, 4.2 type of guy. But this is what people don't realize when I ran that 40. I wasn't supposed to run at the combine. I had tweaked my hamstring 2 weeks prior to the combine. Yeah. So I didn't even bring cleats. If you look at my 40-yard dash, I ran in tennis shoes.
What?
Go look at it. I was running in tennis shoes.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. We gotta go. You gotta come back on as usual. We gotta do part 4 because we gotta go. And you know what? Let me just say this: Drayton is going to be running a sub 4.40 someday because he's just crushing all things. We'll talk to you. Most importantly, congratulations on the Hall of Fame. We're going to come back on the air now. You're the actual GOAT. Hamilton, look up that footage. We got to get that footage for tomorrow's show.
I ran in some Nike Air Max.
Bye, Dev. Dev. I call Devin, Hall of Famer Devin Hester Dev. I've never been more mortified in my entire life. Okay, it's now time to dig into all things NFL free agency. We have NFL writer from The Ringer and The Ringer NFL show, Ben Solak. You, my friend, are one of these sick pups who probably knew Devin Hester ran a 4.41 and wore tennis shoes back in the day because you are so into the nitty-gritty.
I just looked at the YouTube video. He is officially 100% wearing tennis shoes. And I appreciate the fact that Devin Hester, like every athlete before him, insists that he's faster than his 40-yard time would indicate. He was cooking, man. I'd like to give all my time to Devin Hester for the rest of the show.
He's amazing, and congrats to him. We're looking for future Hall of Famers, right? We're looking for these future guys, prospects in the draft, free agency, all of that. You cover the entire NFL, little sweet spot. Little bigger space in your heart for those Philadelphia Eagles. They somehow get CJ back, which is amazing. Loved seeing that. I guess you can come home. That's amazing. He was a huge part of their 2022 Super Bowl team. Considering they were unable to get a deal done last offseason, how did this happen?
Right. I think that Chauncey went to Philadelphia in the trade from the Saints with the hope of increasing his stock in the league, right? He played a lot of slot corner for the Saints. He wanted to be in the true safety market. He was there with the Eagles. He had a bunch of interceptions. They go to the Super Bowl, and then he goes to check out the market, and it just wasn't as robust as he and his camp thought it would be. There was frustration with the offer the Eagles initially gave him in 2022. So he signs another one-year deal, another prove-it deal with the Lions, and then misses most of the season. And so at this point, like, Chauncey's still young, but he's kind of tried to build a big market for himself and just never really found it. So he goes back to Philadelphia, where he was previously successful. There's clearly a starting job for him. He's with Vic Fangio, one of the best DCs in the league. Has been great for safeties over the course of his career. And it's a 3-year, $33 million deal. It's probably a lot of funny money. It's probably more like a 1-year deal, and then there's some options afterward. I think Chauncey's going to continue to try to build his stock and cash in on a safety market that's seeing a lot of guys get paid recently.
I love it. I just want him up against Debo. That's all I want.
He's so fun.
Just amazing. Love the two of them. Okay, Saquon, you got to be happy about that. Eagles add him, that's great. But when it comes to adding in the offseason, all of this, keeping in mind the great collapse of 2023, it's going to be written about in history books and studied by our youth. What have been moves that you liked the most so far, and what else needs to get done?
Yeah, so the addition of Bryce Huff, I think, is really interesting. This was a highly efficient pass rusher with the Jets. He was a rotational player, designated pass rusher, came on the field a lot on third down. This is a classic Howie signing. This guy was efficient on a small sample. Expectation is that he can get a bigger sample and he can remain efficient. This reminds me a lot of when Trey Hendrickson left the Saints for the Bengals. You know, he'd kind of been in a rotation, good first step. Is he really going to be a full down player? And the team acquiring him thinks and hopes that he can be. That move is important because it really increasingly feels like the Eagles are going to move on from one of Hassan Reddick or Josh Sweat, who were their starting defensive ends from last year. And you talked about that collapse. One of the biggest issues for the team down the stretch was their entire defense is predicated on having an elite pass rush, and that pass rush vanished across the board. The edge rushers weren't getting pressure. The interior guys started to fall away. Jalen Carter kind of, vanished for a bit. Fletcher Cox getting up there. He vanished for a little bit. And so they clearly feel like they need to revitalize that defensive line, because a Howie Roseman team is always going to be built on pass rush. Bryce Huff is a representation of that, but Huff's probably going to be a 3-down player because the Eagles might move on from one of Reddick or Sweat.
Now, let's leave the Eagles alone here for a second. I mean, I just learned more about them than I've even focused on them this entire offseason. Ben, you're amazing. You can check out all of your stuff over on The Ringer,
Thank you.
where you somehow just know everything about every team. So let's talk about another one. It's looking for the next quarterback. The Patriots, they say Mac Jones, see ya. They signed Jacoby Brissett back. There's a lot of the theme of this whole offseason is like interdivision is fine. Let's trade and sign people from interdivision. And then also like, let's bring guys back. You posted this message, Justin Fields and Jaden Daniels in New England. Why is this a good plan?
Yeah, it was before they signed Jacoby.
Yes.
I liked Justin for that. I do think that the Patriots are soon enough to potentially make a quarterback pick at 3, right? You've seen them be really involved in the wide receiver market. They've been talking to Calvin Ridley. I think that they're trying to get established pass catchers in place, right? They re-signed Kendrick Bourne. They extend Hunter Henry. So that way they have the bedrock to develop a young quarterback. They keep Michael Nwenu, who is a guard, tackle, swing player for them. Add Chuk Okorafor. They're bolstering the offensive line. This is the behavior of a team who wants a young quarterback in place. Jacoby Brissett on a 1-year deal gives you that ability, right, to get a decent floor quarterback in there. If the rookie's not ready to start, you can play Jacoby for 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and give that rookie a nice long onboard, a nice long ramp. Who's going to be available at 3? That's a question, right? I think that Sportsbooks FanDuel largely had Drake May as the favorite to be the 2nd overall pick. That has recently flipped. And now Jaden Daniels out of LSU is that favorite to be the 2nd overall pick. If Drake May, the quarterback out of UNC, is there at 3, that's a Patriot through and through. I mean, like, that is an ideal size, a prototypical build sort of player.
Do we know what a Patriot is for anymore? Like, they're such a wild card. Like, we feel comfortable still saying, like, that's a Patriot. I don't know. I don't know what the Patriots are.
So when I say that's a Patriot through and through, and I agree with you, right? They're a tough team to get a thumb on the pulse of right now. I'm thinking of Elliot Wolf, who's the new kind of head of personnel there, son of Ron Wolf, who is the grandfather of all those Packers scouting front offices. And if we know anything about a Packers front office, about a Ron Wolf disciple, it's that prototypical size matters. Packers front office guys like big players. All right, big players win football games. Welcome to the NFL. Drake May's big boy. And so to me, like he hits the he hits the size markers that I would look for, that I would expect for a team that's being run by a Packers-inspired guy. Now, that's reading tea leaves. That's between the lines, right? They had a grading system under Belichick for years that was very unique in their front office. It was specific to his schemes and his systems. That Wolf spoke at the Combine this year, and he said, we scrapped that. We threw that away. Him and Alonzo Highsmith are reimagining how they grade players there. Like, they are changing the way they scout in New England. And so I come up here, up in Adams, and I'm like, I know who the Patriots like, but in reality, I don't, and nobody does. This is a very new approach for New England. I'm excited to see what they do.
You said Justin Fields to New England. They signed Brissett. He's clearly not going there. The market is dry as a desert. Where's Justin Fields going? You heard Hester.
Yeah, I think Philadelphia right now is one of the more interesting spots. Back up Jalen Hurts, the similar skill set. We know that Philadelphia to be a quarterback factory. This is a place where he can grow and he can get development. And you know, Jalen Hurts was a little bit banged up last season. He tends to get banged up because he runs so physically. Maybe that's the spot for him. There's an open backup job in San Francisco, man. You love to be with Kyle Shanahan as a backup quarterback. That's a good boost for you. All right, that'll improve your stock no matter what. I think the team that acquires Justin Fields wants to be able to go 2-2 if he has to play 4 games. So you're thinking of like a contending team that just needs a solid QB2 as a placeholder. And Fields wants to go to a team where just his association with them will lead to a potentially better deal when he hits free agency after this upcoming season. Philadelphia and San Francisco both scratch that itch. So we'll see. But I don't think Fields gets traded anytime soon. The market is so dry that Bears got to wait until the draft comes and goes, see who gets quarterback, who doesn't. Maybe the Broncos get desperate, Raiders get desperate, and you go from there.
Fascinating. One last one for you. We have about a minute left. You're a very fast talker, though. I want to have you on all the time. I like
professional. Come on now.
No, you're amazing. I wanted to get like a USB port and just plug it into you and then plug it into me, and I'll have the download of all the information. Dallas Crickets, not the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Crickets. Fans are like, do something. I think Devin White should go there. They're like, we're all in. They're giving me sleeping at the wheel right now. What should they do?
Well, what they got to do is they got to extend CeeDee Lamb, who's got 1 year left on his deal. They got to extend Dak Prescott, who's got 1 year left on his deal. They got to extend Micah Parsons, who has 1 year and then the 5th year option left on his deal. The problem is they have so much future money that's not yet tied into stars, but will be tied into stars. And so I agree, they can make moves on the margin. I think Devin White, add a linebacker, add a running back. I think those moves would help. But in terms of big deals, they got to keep the money on the stars that they have to pay.
I was going to ask you, who won free agency? Clearly, it's Ben Solak over at The Ringer. Check out his work over there.
Texans did pretty good.
I would like to listen to your podcast on 2X, like I listen to all of mine, because you would sound incredible.
When people tell me they have to slow me down, it makes me so pleased. I feel like I win.
No, keep it going. I like the energy. I appreciate the information. And thanks, guys. Check out The Ringer NFL show. Of course, you already listened to that. Bye, Ben.